We're living in unprecedented times, so today we're gonna do a bit of a different kind of video. Mostly informative, less hypothetically scary. We here at Top 5 want you to stay safe and secure during this hard to navigate time, so we've put together a video detailing some facts that are good to know. Hello horror heads and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your horror host, Keegan Hughes, and today we're counting down the top 5 scary facts about the virus that you need to know. Things change very quickly, so please keep an eye out for more breaking news and strategies on keeping you and your loved ones safe. But for now, you can check out our list of COVID-19 facts. Before we get started, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more facts and figures. Perfect, let's get going. First, we'll talk about the numbers. We'll start off with some data to give everything else a little more context. If we want to keep things at the lowest they can be, we need to understand some potential figures and why we want to avoid reaching that point. As of Tuesday, April 7th, the total number of cases worldwide has reached 1.4 million and rising. If we look to the current hotspot, the United States, it seems that the height is yet to come. White House officials predict more than 100,000 people could die from the virus, and that's if public social distancing guidelines are followed. By mid-April, it's predicted that as many as 2,000 people could die per day. The White House coronavirus response coordinator, Dr. Deborah Brick, says that if guidelines aren't followed, worst-case modeling projects up to 2.2 million people could die. As a follow-up to this dire model, it has become apparent that social distancing indeed does have an effect. In places where it's practiced, there's been notable reductions in person-to-person contact, as well as transmissions. This is important especially in places like New York City, where the population density is high and hospitals may not be able to handle a major influx of infected people. At number 4, people without symptoms can spread the virus. According to the Center for Disease Control Director Dr. Robert Redfield, as many as 25% of carriers can be asymptomatic. This means that the virus can be spread without the knowledge of carriers or the people around them. It's tough to respond to this as well, as there are limited medical supplies available. There's a debate about how much masks would affect the issue and whether or not they're effective at stopping the spread. Some experts would recommend that the general public wear face masks, but only if the issue of taking masks away from healthcare workers who don't need them didn't exist. Right now, it seems that cloth masks are on the big up, but make sure you're looking into it and figuring out how to properly wear one so that you don't heighten your own risk. In the meantime, if someone is asymptomatic and walking around, there's really no way to stop that spread, so stay home, right? In related ridiculousness, a whole lot of folks have decided to continue spending their free time in public areas. The other week, a bunch of stories about spring breakers continuing to party on crowded beaches went viral, claiming that because they were young and in need of fun, they didn't need to worry. Add this to plenty of folks still taking the family to parks, trails, and other outdoor attractions, and you've got covert spread just waiting to happen. Essential workers might be at greater risk because of this and may be asymptomatic, bringing greater risk to their coworkers and families. Again, stay home. At number 3, people are hiding symptoms to remain in public. Well, speaking of people not staying home, at least the ones I mentioned before may have been blissfully ignorant. But reports have gone out about people heading out to risky areas while exhibiting symptoms. Heavy consciousnesses on these folks, I bet. This is definitely about dangerous people more than a dangerous virus. The other week, a story came out about a New York man who deliberately hid his symptoms so he could go visit his wife in, get this, the maternity ward. Wow. I don't know if I could come up with a more irresponsible scenario. Just so dangerous to all the vulnerable folks receiving medical care. And even worse is that he only revealed the truth of the situation after his wife started showing similar symptoms post-birth. Until that point, there were checkpoints, but they were question and answer based. It was an honor system, you know, don't ruin this for everyone. Well, obviously a little too much faith was put into people at that point. Now they've started taking temperatures at the entrance, probably for the best. Other safeguards have been put into place at this point too. I guess we've all learned something here today, right? Stay home. Coming in at number 2, we've got the virus can stay on surfaces. So wash your hands. Wash your hands. It's been discovered that COVID-19 can survive on some surfaces for 2 to 3 days. This is especially true in hard plastics and steel. It's easier for people to pick up if they touch these surfaces, so folks should avoid touching things that many others have touched recently. This includes things like elevator buttons, grocery carts, doorknobs, handrails, gas pumps, and more. So again, wash your gosh darn hands often and wipe stuff down with whatever you can. Disinfecting solution's probably the best call. The virus has a tough time surviving on porous surfaces like cloth, paper, and cardboard, but the risk is still there. So make sure again to wash your hands after touching anything that has not been recently sanitized. In the end, the main route of transmission is still direct from person to person. This means the main concern is stuff like coughing, sneezing, or anything else that involves the transfer of saliva or mucus droplets. Cover your mouth, wash your hands. You've heard this all before. And at number 1, the virus is mutating. This one isn't as scary as it sounds though, because all viruses mutate. Survival of the fittest and whatnot. Natural selection at work in the virus world. The virus that can replicate and propagate the fastest will be the most successful and spread further. But remember, viruses that kill people or incapacitate them quickly don't spread as far, as the chances of it being transferred is lower. So the mutations don't always directly raise the danger level. There was genetic analysis done on the virus early on that suggests that there are two main strains of coronavirus that started it all, known as L and S. L was more prevalent, while S was the ancestral version. It's speculated that the prevalence of L came from it being more aggressive, transmitting more easily and replicating faster in the body. We've gone over some facts about the virus and taken a look at some particularly worrisome figures. There is no magic cure-all, no silver bullet. The virus is going to be around for a while, and we need to work together as human beings to prevent the spread. It will continue to proliferate and infect people whether or not we take preventative measures, but by staying at home, washing our hands, and listening to the experts, we can prevent major breakdowns in support systems. It can become more manageable over time, but only if we take steps to make it that way. So really, the scariest fact about the virus is that it can cause a lot more damage than we'd expect if we're not careful. So let's take care of ourselves and each other, and we'll get through this together. Best of luck to everyone out there, and thank you to all the workers who still head into their jobs every day. From grocery stores to emergency rooms, we appreciate all that you do. I suppose I'll go through some of the most traumatic comments from the top 5 scary horror movies ruined by their endings to wrap up today's video. James Vance says, I can't count how many good, scary, or terrifying movies I've seen end badly. Not enough fingers and toes. Well, you better start collecting some more limbs to count on, but I'm definitely not encouraging you to steal people's limbs. JW says, there's a theory about signs. Those aren't aliens, and it isn't just water they're allergic to, but holy water. Holy smokes. That's an interesting theory indeed. I'll have to give it another watch with that in mind. Kurt Popejoy says, if you do a part 3 and don't include the platform, this list is invalid. A great movie reduced to rubble in 5 minutes. Yeah, that's a new one, yeah? I still haven't seen it, but I'll have to catch it and see if that lives up to your expectations. Miss Tech Not Fancy says, I hate it when a movie is good the whole time and the end is just trash. Why would the directors do that? I don't think the directors are choosing for their movie to end poorly. I think they might have just run out of good ideas, or maybe time and money. Who knows? And Son Bra says, I don't like the ending to The Mist, but maybe that's just me. Well, The Mist is polarizing for sure. You know, some people love it, some people hate it, some people just want to read the novella again and again. It's up in the air. And that's all the time we have for today. Before I go grave robbing and a curse too, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more of the latest. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.